Italian. There are people with certain thoughts patterns that reject authoritarianism, regardless if it's on the left or the right. To me, that's a more important bond than, me and Reverend Al Sharpton have the same skin color. That's meaningless to me.
Yeah.
Or you and Nancy Pelosi have the same skin color. And we're taught this new ideology is I'm supposed to accept their ideology based on my race, even if I think it's wrong. And if I think you're right, I'm supposed to still pick them over you, even though they're literally making stuff up. So that's giving them power over me. The fact is that maybe the cops were racist that shot him, maybe they weren't. But the central issue was no-knock raids are bad.
Yeah.
And the guy that tried to stop him, you wanted to beat him up because he was at Trump's. If they stop no-knock raids, this doesn't happen again.
Right. Problem solved. But again, do you want to solve the problem or do you want to run your pie hole?
They want to use the problem. They don't care about Breonna Taylor. I think 99% of the people talking about Breonna Taylor, they don't care about her. Because if they cared about her, they'd be trying to do something about all the people who get shot in St. Louis or Chicago. I remember when I was a kid, I brought that stuff up, and they were like, what they don't tell you is I don't know what's going on now, but in the 80s and the early 90s, they told young black kids who were smart, you don't talk about black criminals. You don't talk about black kids who are screwing up in school. You don't talk about that 17-year-old that drove to 7th grade and that's trying to beat. You don't talk about that or you're a race traitor. They don't care about these black people dying. I'm saying as a black man, I know, I've seen it.
Sure.
I'm as black as anyone else. They want to use that to get power and to get control. Which is why, again, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy do so much more making people laugh.
Yeah.
By saying things that are racist and sexist and homophobic, Dave Chappelle, than anyone in Congress.
Because you're taking the lighter side of it, and if you can laugh at it, then you don't take it so seriously.
I remember when Delirious, I think it was Delirious, where Eddie Murphy did something that he made fun of the notion that black people naturally fight better than white people, and he told the story about how he got in a fight with this Italian dude. And assumed he could just beat him up because he was black. And he said the Italian dude, lit him up. I think he hit the guy, too. But he was just, making fun of how stupid it was to assume that you're somehow impervious to the fist of a person because you're black and they're white. Yeah. And I was like, because that's what we were taught. We're
sure.
So many people believe that, if you're black, you're tough. And if you're white. And that's one of the worst, weird, racist things that... It makes no physiological, biological sense.
No, it doesn't.
But it's something that people are comfortable with. People are comfortable with dumb stuff.
We need to, and I'll make this as light as we can as we wrap this up. There was an Indian shaman named Red Elk. Okay, he's since passed away, and Red Elk used to tell stories of how he would go to the mountaintop, and he would talk to Bigfoot.
Right.
He would talk to the aliens that had landed. And Red Elk would say, we just all need to live together in harmony, no matter what our race is. Black,
right,
white, red, lizard. All the races need to live in harmony.
Right.
And he was serious as a heart attack. Now, everybody laughed at Red Elk, but he was kind of half right.
Right.
He didn't take himself seriously. I mean, he included the Sasquatch and the lizard people as just one more race of mankind.
Right.
Okay. If we can take ourselves a little less seriously, maybe laugh a little bit more. Right. Don't cancel Eddie Murphy. Don't cancel Dave Chappelle.
Right.
Let's listen to what they have to say and have a laugh.
Yeah.
And whenever it comes out, buy the book about vampires. You got a date yet?
I don't have a date of release. I mean,
okay.
the material is done.
Okay.
I'm just looking at artists, and then looking at learning how. I'm now learning the business. Like, how do you publish it? How do you make it effective? But the product is, I've forced myself to stop messing with it. There's a few few tightenings up that I can do, but
then you haven't stopped. If you're a few tightenings up is not stopping. Putting it in a drawer is stopping.
Yeah, well, I'm 99.98% stopped. Limited to 50 words or less per adjustment now.
Okay.
But yeah, so I don't know about the date in terms of it being a product, but the writing is done.
Very good.
And the editors have seen it. Other than the two, they're like, well, you need to, a couple of them said it was a little sexist. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, what,
right.
So one person said, because I've had about 13 people kind of review, because that's something college people do. And most of it's got, one of the women said, it seems like all of the women that you have in the book that you described are supposed to be hot.
Sure.
And I said, well, I didn't think of it that way, but sure. She goes, well, that's like she said it was body image something. I said, okay, I'm good.
Think Kate Beckinsale. Okay, all right,
right. She said it was something. It was body image regressive. That's what it was.
Oh my god!
They said the book was good, but it was body image regressive.
Oh my god!
And I'm just like, what? They're vampires. They don't gain weight. There are no fat vampires.
Wow.
Well, actually, there's one in the book, but anyway. But yeah, it's just like, come on, man. Like, let the damn vampires be skinny, okay?
That's right.
Can we just chill out for like 5 seconds?
It's fantasy.
It's fantasy.
Come on.
It's like it's crazy how. But yeah,
if you're gonna have a dream about a gal, it's not gonna be Rosie O'Donnell. Okay, that's not going to be the dream.
If it is, then I'm terrified of you. You're scaring me, buddy.
We could talk all night. I know that could be, but you got to get home.
Yep.
I got to get to bed, and we got to wrap this up. And once upon a time, I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll start videotaping these podcasts. We couldn't out here because we're sitting here in the dark.
Right.
It went dark on us, and that's it. So, hey, thank you for coming out, James. I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming out and doing the podcast as always.
It's fun as always.
Take care. That's it. We're done. Thank you for tuning in. JamesStrongShow@hotmail.com. That's the email address. Send me your email address. I will send you the link to the podcast after it drops, and you can download it and listen to it at your leisure. And get the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm on about 40 different places. Okay, that's it. Until next time, this is James Strong saying adios.